Hello! Welcome back from spring break, fifth graders. I am very, very happy to be back at it, making videos for you guys, creating assignments, and hopefully very, very soon checking in with all of you to see how your work is going. Um, as much as it was nice to take a week off and do some of those fun things that just keep ourselves sane and calm and peaceful, I personally kind of felt like this spring break wasn't really as exciting for me. And I don't know how all of you felt, but I will admit that towards the end, I actually really was just looking forward to getting back to teaching. And I don't know if any of you were sitting at home thinking, I'm actually really looking forward to having lessons again. Hopefully, some of you felt that way, but I don't blame you if you were like just loving your time off. Regardless of how you felt about your spring break, I'm happy that we're back and we have a lot of exciting things to work on today. Before I go any further, some of you may have noticed, but I am now kind of a blonde. That was one of my fun spring break activities that I decided to do, is I decided to dye my hair. And today on Google Classroom, you will notice that there's a question posted. I want you to tell me just one thing at least that you did with your time off, okay? I'm also going to start posting a question on Google Classroom to make sure that people are actually watching the morning message. So from now on, I'm going to be sort of planting little statements into the video, and you have to be paying close attention and of course watching the video in order to answer the question. And if you don't, I'll be able to tell because you won't have answered the question, okay? So today, the quick thing that I'm going to tell you, just so that you know, is that I specifically dyed my hair on Saturday. Okay, so that's going to be the question I ask. Moving forward, there's a few changes that I want you to know about for how we're doing online learning. So beforehand, I wasn't doing very many meetings with all of you. But starting this week and going forward for the rest of the school year, we will have a few more updates to this schedule. So, on Mondays and Thursdays, from 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock, I will be hosting something called office hours. You need to specifically message me to request office hours, if that makes sense. So I will have a little Meet link, but it's not going to get posted for anyone to see. You have to message me on an assignment and say, Miss Yako, I'm struggling with blank. Can we talk about it during office hours? And based on the order that I get those messages from, I'm going to be helping you all. So let's imagine that you struggle with today's math lesson. Today's math lesson is hard for you. You're going to go onto your little comment, the private comment on Google Classroom, and you're going to type, I'm having a hard time with this skill. Can I please join office hours today? I will then send you the link for office hours. From 1 p.m. to 2 p.m., you come to office hours, and I will be helping anyone who is struggling with that particular skill. I will make sure that there is time for any skill we're working on that day. And then on Thursday, we have office hours from 1 to 2. And for Thursday's office hours, it can be anything you needed help with from Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, okay? Maybe you just are having a hard time using Google Classroom. That's another opportunity where I can help you with that stuff too, okay? Then on Tuesdays and Fridays, I'm going to be hosting small groups. That's similar to office hours, but instead of you asking me, I will be actually asking you. So I will notice when people seem to be having a hard time with a skill, and I will say, hey, I'd like to do a small group with you from 1 to 2 on Tuesdays and Fridays, okay? You will get notice from me, and if I don't hear back from you, then I will reach out to a family member of yours, whomever you're living with, to make sure that you show up from 1 to 2, as long as you're available. Of course, if there's something causing you to not have time, then that is something I will be understanding of, okay? Finally, on Wednesdays, we will always still have our community circle, but I'm going to change community circle timing from, it used to be 1:15 p.m., Now community circle will happen at 11 a.m. because I'm hoping that if I change the time to be earlier in the morning, more of you all will show up. Because to be honest, wasn't getting as much participation in the last week or two as I would hope. So start coming to community circle, friends. It's now that school is mandatory, I would really like to see anyone who is capable of coming there. So the only time you wouldn't show up is if there's like some specific family obligation or something that you have to be doing at that particular time that prevents you from coming, okay? We really want to see your faces and we want to remember that we are a community, okay? All right, so there was a lot to get through and I haven't even told you about today's assignments. So last but not least, let's talk about what you're doing today. For reading today, you are going to complete a skill on IXL that is called Use Actions and Dialogue to Understand Characters. And specifically, it is skill H1 on IXL Language Arts, okay? Then I want you to, as usual, read 30 minutes. And from now on, I'm not going to ask you to log, but instead of logging, you are going to just send me a comment or like when you submit, you are going to, you can either actually, this is just coming to me on the spot. So I just realized that I had one idea and now I have a better one. You could start a Google Doc and instead of writing your reading out onto a piece of paper, you can on your Google Doc write how many pages did you read, what day it is, the title of the book, all of that, okay? So I'm going to make sure to type out the instructions on the assignment since that just kind of came to me, and I don't want you to feel confused right now. But basically what you need to understand for reading, do the skill H1, read for 30 minutes, and then you're going to also write about your reading. So what have you learned about your character since you started this book? I want you to write out a paragraph about what you've learned about the main character. If you don't feel like you've learned a lot about the main character, then I hope you're super early on in your book, because if you are not at the beginning of your book, you should know a lot about your main character by now. Then for math, I want you to practice a skill called subtract fractions with unlike denominators. That is skill L10 on IXL Math, okay? Last but not least, there is a video called Yako's Yoga V2, and I want you to just do the yoga with me. So just watch the video, find a place in your home where you can sit down on the floor and just do the poses, okay? Okay, friends, last thing I gotta say before you start your day, and this is important. Your parents should have received a phone call from me, or an email, or a text message. I communicate with everyone a little differently, but all of your families should know by now that starting today, everything you do is for a grade. Everything, okay? So if it's the math, the reading, the writing, or the social studies, it's based on how well you do on IXL. So if you get a 100, that's an A, okay? But if you are doing the skill and you stop before 100, it may not be an A. It may be a B, C, or D. It's going to depend on your SMART score. Remember, the SMART score is that little number that appears on the side, okay? So if you want to get a good grade, push yourself to get the highest SMART score that you can, and that's going to determine your grade, okay? As far as PE, there's just going to have to be a system in place for finding a way of showing me that you've done it. So if you want to send me a comment saying that you did the yoga for today, that will count just fine for me. If you want a parent to take a photo of you doing the pose and have them send it to me on Dojo, that will work just fine. I need you to prove to me that you did the PE somehow, okay? So that's how you're going to get your grade. And then since that's the only assignments for today, we're just going to take it one day at a time, but I'll be sure as we continue to explain to you how your grades are determined, okay? All right, friends, I know that was a lot of information, but you really do need to start watching these morning messages and greetings because they do have all the information that you need to be successful. Okay, friends? So let me know if you have any questions. I am around. I am here all day, and I'm here to help you. Okay? Missing you lots, and look forward to seeing how you do on today's skills. Bye-bye.